Hello, I'm Dr. Joel Domingo with City University. In this video, I'm going to go over your applied dissertation, the prospectus, proposal, and full dissertation. Now, there are many types of dissertations out there on a wide variety of topics. Some of them are EDDs, some are PhDs, some are DBAs, some are DMins, some are other types of dissertations. But a dissertation is essentially a big research project that is done in written form. So, what is a dissertation? It's basically an independent research study that's not been done before. Simply put, it's a simple research study. It advances your field, whatever that is, in a specific way. It is limited in scope. So what we tell students is don't try to take on this activist mentality and save the world. Focus specifically on the research at hand. And this is one of the biggest sticking points with students, that we remind them that a dissertation isn't the be-all end-all. It is just a small part of research in the grand scheme of research in the literature. We want you to think about your project as you learn. And so it's important to choose wisely. To choose wisely about the topic that you pick, about the specific research that you're going to be undertaking, etc. Now, to break it down, there are essentially two types of dissertations. There's what's known as a basic dissertation and an applied dissertation. A basic dissertation primarily focuses on generating new knowledge to advance your field. An applied dissertation similarly focuses on generating new knowledge, but also applying new knowledge in pursuit of a solution of a problem in that field. It's better to think of these two as a spectrum of work rather than either one or the other, because there's a lot of basic dissertation that have applied components to them. There's a lot of applied dissertations that have the basic components to them. Now, to break it down, sometimes a basic dissertation typically tends to be a PhD, whereas the applied dissertation tends to be like an EDD, a DBA, a DIT, etc., that type of thing. Now, these are rules of thumb. This is not hard and fast, but in general, you have two types of dissertations, regardless of the topic. All right? Now, the key to dissertation is the research problem, or what's known as the problem statement. In any type of research work, the research problem or the problem statement is the key to why it's being written in the first place. And we'll talk about throughout residencies what constitutes a good problem statement, how to write a problem statement, etc. But I want to present to you some aspects of what's a researchable problem. First, this research problem has to be clear. It has to be a problem as defined in the literature. It's not a problem because it's your opinion. So we need more left-handed stoplights, I don't know, in the world. Or, we need to fix traffic in my city. Yeah, sure, but is that really a problem? Remember that key phrase, per the literature. This is not your opinion on the problem. It's not a problem you think exists. It has to be documented. It has to also be having a negative impact on some area in your field. And resolving this problem will be of value to some area in your field. In other words, it's not something you come up with. It's not something that's your opinion. It's not something that is just out there. It has to be a documented problem. And again, throughout the residency, we'll focus on how to find what that problem is, how to really see if this really is a problem, etc. But just wanted to talk about the key to a dissertation is the research problem, the problem statement. That statement of the problem is what's known as the problem statement. It is clearly written and succinct. It doesn't go on forever. It's not, how do we solve world hunger? That is a problem, yes, but that's too big. So again, it has to be something. We'll narrow it in scope, etc. I'll talk about all those components, but just know that it's about a research problem. Now, you saw this in a previous video, what a dissertation is. It's 5 chapters: introduction, literature review, methodology, results or findings, discussion, etc. All right. And I also, in a previous video, took a look at what those stages are: prospectus, proposal, and full dissertation. But most importantly, I want to look now at each milestone and what goes into it, okay? The first is the prospectus. The prospectus is essentially an outline of your dissertation. It is not your entire dissertation. It is really your entire dissertation in a nutshell. It's the ideas. Now you're going to flesh this out. You can think of it like a skeleton more so than anything else. It's the framework. It's the blueprints of your dissertation. It's not your dissertation. It's an outline. So your chair will work with you on this, and how we get this done is through a prospectus tool, which you'll cover in the residencies. What this tool is, it presents your problem statement. This prospectus is supported by a high level of description of the literature and methods. Your prospectus has to be linked to business or leadership, and the prospectus will be approved by your chair and institutional reviewer / lead methodologist. Okay, so the outline, those are some criteria for the outline, which is known as the prospectus. But let's say that's good. You have a good researchable topic, you have a good problem statement or research problem, perhaps you've got methodology down, etc., that kind of thing. But once you have that outline done and approved, all right, it's time to work on the proposal. Milestone 2. The proposal is simply chapters 1, 2, and 3 of that dissertation. It's written in the form of the dissertation. In other words, it's not an outline. It is just like you read in any dissertation. It's just the first 3 chapters. That's it. Usually the proposal is the most arduous part of a dissertation. It's where students feel like, oh, I'm not getting anything done. All I'm doing is back and forth writing, editing, revising, submitting, revising, editing again. Yes, it's all that. But at the end, on the proposal, when you finish chapters 1, 2, and 3, it's going to be approved by your chair, your committee, and institutional reviewer, and the IRB. So a lot of people in this approval chain in this second milestone, because it's one of the most important stages. It's really giving you the green light to say, now let's do the study. All right. Final stage is stage 3, which is your chapter 4 and 5. Basically, chapter 1, 2, and 3 allows you to go get your data and go do your analysis, because chapters 4 and 5 are your results and your discussion. So in this full dissertation stage, you're not starting over again. You are just building upon what you did in the previous milestone or stage, and you're just going to add to chapter 1, 2, and 3 by writing chapters 4 and 5. You're just going to continue your document. In reality, again, you're just adding these 3 chapters to the proposal. These 2 chapters to the proposal. And finally, after writing chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, you have a dissertation, and that's going to be approved by your chair, committee, and given an okay to defend by the institutional reviewer. Now, as I shared in a previous video, you are to finish all that by RESR 694E. That is 5 quarters, a little over a year. And once you've done that, you are then allowed to go to the next and final thing, which is RESR 694F. That's the defense, the quarter that you do your defense. That's it. That's the dissertation. Now, there's some general expectations that we want you to have before you undertake this endeavor. I want to remind you about time. Dissertation is a sacrifice. It's worth it, but it's a huge sacrifice of time. Again, we map it out for 6 quarters. That's a year and a half, but it may feel like forever. And some students, it has taken forever, but some students, it's taken less time. It is a sacrifice, so what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. I can't stress enough the interaction with your chair, that person is the most important person in your journey. Remember that your chair does not write your dissertation. You are the one that writes it. Your chair is also not your editor, which we'll talk about at some point. You need to have good writing done. You need to have your mechanics, your grammar, your APA, etc. So therefore, you are on the hook to make the edits. Not your chair, not anyone else, except an editor. If they ask for a revision, you need to do that. All right? I can't remind you enough about APA formatting. APA 7. Highly recommend you get an editor because you will need one. Remember, a dissertation will be a published document, and so because of that, we want this to be your best work, to be edited, no spelling mistakes, grammar, etc. I want to finish with some common challenges experienced by dissertation students, and one of them is writing. Obviously, writing, clarity, APA, organization, don't cut corners. Spend the time. Be diligent in your writing. Sometimes the research problem is the biggest challenge, that it's not really a problem, it's an opinion. Sometimes the problem is too big. It's, I want to save the world, or I want to solve world hunger. That's great. Yes, we all do, but that's not a dissertation topic. Um, Sometimes it's not something anyone really cares about, or something that's been done before and it's not unique. These are all components that are important when you craft your research problem or problem statement. Sometimes students can't seem to get their minds around the concept of addressing the problem in the first place, or sometimes they think the chair is their editor. No, you are doing the work. Many times, a big challenge is that students get so stuck on a topic and won't let it go because it's the one thing that they think they're going to do. The previous video I reminded you the best dissertation is a done dissertation, so get this thing done. Sometimes they select something that's not dissertation worthy. I'll get into that, what that means at a little later time. Many times they're overwhelmed, or they fail to do with the edits. They get the chair to write their dissertation. No, that's a no-no. They have unrealistic expectations. And sometimes they request a new chair just because they don't want to do the work. It is a sacrifice of time. And again, it's worth it, but it will draw the best out of you. So that's why you need those supports. All right, there's some final tips. Again, you are not alone. They're tough. They're probably the hardest part of the doctoral process, but they are doable. So feel free to seek the help you need from the chair, faculty, librarians, subject matter experts, others, etc. A lot of this will be covered in future residencies, but I hope that gives you a big overview of what a dissertation is and some common challenges. Thank you, and I look forward to your journey.